Welcome to Present, a product of Recall, spoken and pitched by Miguel Fernandez. The product we are here for is the idea of being present. How many times have you been in a meeting, classroom, or discussion for training or school and felt like you just weren't connected, that you were not grasping the information because you felt that you were not actually there? What if we were to tell you that our product could close the gap and ensure that we don't feel that way anymore? I'm not talking about applications that help us like phone calls, Zoom, Skype, Teams. I'm talking about having the person or persons there present and being able to feel that you can physically interact with them. That is what we're ensuring that our product can do. And we will bring that person to feel and interact as though they are literally next to each other. That is what we are offering. We are going from a gaming company to an educational company. We are ensuring that you are present. We want to address that the cost to this would be a one-time charge. We want to ensure that we address that although the one-time charge of $999 would seem something out of reach or be out of pocket, uh, we want to ensure that we know that we are selling them a device that can actually go from leisure to educational purposes, or that they can actually go and utilize somebody else's device because the software is actually what we are developing. The hardware is already there. We're just shifting in the software implementations. We want to make sure that our software is utilized across all products, whether they be Apple, Dell, HP, Sony, but if they utilize our hardware, that is exactly what they're going. They're going to have the best aspect from. As we've seen, learners trained with VR were up to 275% more confident to act on what they had learned after training, and a 40% improved over classroom and 35% improvement over e-learning training. What does this mean to us? This ensures that we are now changing the way people see their training. As we can see, virtual reality technology enables surgeons to virtually explore a patient's anatomy prior to performing a procedure, much like a pilot uses flight simulator. So this is monumental since now they would be able to address coming out of a 1 year residency and having thousands of that one surgery under the belt. We're changing our demographics. We're going from 7-year-olds and 45-year-olds as low as 5-year-olds and 62-year-olds. That means that anybody that has a potential to go to school or is giving training or training somebody now has the ability to pull that data for us. And we're looking at big data. That's exactly what we're going for. We're not shy. We know exactly what we're looking for. That means that anybody that has the potential to now go to school or could be in school or give someone school or sending somebody to school will be in our demographic. We're going to go ahead and move on to the evaluation or SWOT. The strengths are easy. The ability to have the product not only tailored to the needs of the individual, but also the company. Add on to the fact that we can now also ensure that we control the product as well as the software bundles. This ensures that our cost controls and development are exactly where we need the inventory to be at the cost at the cost of sale. For example, if we were to sell our hardware for $999 and then we sold 100 of them, this would already ensure that we have met our quota because we either sold the inventory or the software. We would be able to control the development and research of the cost, which again would be internal because we would be able to see where we wanted it to go. Our weaknesses are implementing this item into reality, which again is hard to do since a lot of the product is still not known. We would have to ensure that the product is on shelves long enough to work out the bugs if there are any, that we have enough investment and or capital available to us through loans to keep the project on the shelf so that we can ensure that we have enough time to talk to the educational services of the states we're selling to, as well as trying to convey that to the corporations and private entities. Again, since we are known in the gaming community, that would be a little bit less hard to do with private entities. But again, our main addressee here would be that of the education services of the states. Since we are new in terms to the education, we've had to ensure that we had enough patents or liabilities to protect our copyrights and to ensure that there's no software infringement or hardware infringement so that there's no overlaps. Again, this is where it gets a little iffy since we would have to combat inflation, especially right now. We would have to address concerns, and that could become an issue. Again, the opportunities are there. We can sell upsell since we are the first to the market. We can take a different industry in implementation. We can showcase our product better since we have seen that displacement is real and that people can work remotely. We are going to be the first to utilize this hardware in this market. And again, the threats are easy. Competition, we have liabilities with legalities of overlap of copyright and trademarks. We have to ensure that the governments that we are selling to and the governments that we are going to sell to, not just our own, that we have all taxes and laws in a place to make sure that we are protected. So that's a huge thing. We want to make sure that our brand is branded correctly. We're going from from a leisure company to an actual educational service company. We have the again, we have the hardware and the software in development, and the hardware's already been there because of our gaming capabilities. We open up the packaging idea to it. We are promising that each bundle is going to be customizable. We want to make sure that they know that if they buy for educational services as well as gaming services or bundle it up together, that they can go ahead and pick and choose their bundle. And the whole idea is that whether they're playing games or training or using it for educational services, they can use it. The price is a mile in the middle. We are at $999, and that is better than a lot of our competition since those flimsy $30 ones from Google or the highest one right now from that's at 3,499. We are solid 999, and that's a one-time cost that can hold itself, that hardware, for 5 years. The place is, again, our schools are our primary demographics. Secondary is going to be companies and corporations because they already know us, so we're not too worried about them coming into that venue. Promotion is, again, we already have overlap. Uh, we just need to ensure that once the companies know that we are selling, that they know that we've also shifted to education and training services. We want to ensure that we talk about the reason that we are actually developing this hardware and software. And it's not just for developmental reasons, or that we know that we have to move forward. This is for the sake of ensuring people feel comfortable and secure. We are developing this product to ensure that we are creating safety for our children if they're at school, and we will be able to have the training or classes for people to attend in virtual real classroom, and no one will know the difference. The parents who are personally attending will be able to control how they want to be present. You, as the parent coach, will be able to control the interaction. You will have the ability to see the classroom in bird's view from the student's perspective, or the review of the classroom's activities from the teacher's line of sight. This is necessary so the parent or the coach knows what the trainee or student is learning, how they are learning, and if they are learning. Lastly, we understand that cost is high, but we want to make sure that they understand that the cost is one time versus the utilities or needed for the next 10 years. This is the last piece of equipment that you should realistically need to buy for the next 5 to 10 years, since all utilities will be used virtually. We want to ask ourselves to ensure that we are not just creating value to our client, but ensuring that we are able to create value to ourselves. This is something we need to understand to make sure that we give the consumer, and if not just ourselves, to understand that this product has value, then that we are not missing. We need to understand that we are doing this so we never lose any time not being present, that we can learn in real time, regardless of time, distance, or space allowed. And we can learn that at the earlier age how to work equipment that is more complex, which will lead to the future being better off. We know that we are in the future of education, especially with restrictions, where allotment of costs are because of the inflation of costs right now. And we want to make sure that we're not an obstacle. As we've seen in other cities, especially right now, one in Baltimore's math scores are just the lowest in the state. And that's probably because of COVID. We want to make sure that we address that and we don't have any more future issues. Our strategy is simple. We're going to ensure that we utilize the applications already in place to have our internal interactions through the implementations of GroupMe, Reddit, Messenger, and Next, and we will ensure that all are connected. And utilizing our platforms to ensure that our clients feel secure when our sales team and collaborators are using the information correctly. We will be using our Facebook, Instagram, as well as other media platforms correctly to ensure that we will have our digital footprint in everyone's eyes. Since our demographics are, again, from the age of 5 to 62 now, this will cover a lot of traffic. We want to ensure that our tournament sponsorship, as well as digital creators that already use this hardware, showcase and talk as they can use our hardware for school, that when they invest in our product, they are using it for multiple aspects of their life.